Get strong. Get strong.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, Soul Man and Friends people. I do apologise. Joe and I were sitting backstage there having a right good old blether, and then we're like, oh no, look at the time. So here I am. We have got the lovely Jo today, and Jo was on with us a couple of weeks ago, and she was talking all about all of her stuff, which actually I think we will speak about today. But the main chat today is talking all about Jo's brand new company, which is very exciting. So I'm going to bring Jo on right now, and she is going to explain to you all about what that is. So,
Hello!
Hi, Jo. How are you?
Hello. I'm hoping my internet is okay, because you were freezing a wee bit there, but I don't know if it's mine. I'm like now really worried, but we'll go with it. We'll go with it. We'll do it. So
let us know, guys, if we're freezing. If any of us are freezing, do let us know in the comments. That would be really, really nice of you. And if you are watching as well, say hello in the comments if you can. Hit that love button, tap your screen and hit the love button and show Jo some love. So, Jo, we are here this morning to talk all about your brand new business, which we kind of kept on the back burner the last time, didn't we? Because it wasn't ready to go live, so you were a bit like,
yes, that's exactly it.
All ready? Yeah.
Yeah. So do you know what? I am really excited to be here. I've actually got my t-shirt on and everything today. I'm really prepared. I'm happy to shout from the rooftop. So Birthtree is something that Doug especially has been working on for a while. And we basically started it during lockdown 1. The idea came to fruition in lockdown 1. And it was actually just after really being out in nature and watching, I don't know if anyone watched that David Attenborough program last year. And, we really just understood. I think we've always been quite passionate about, looking after the planet, but maybe not really understanding. Doug's never been a big card person. I think it's now he uses the excuses because of the work that we're doing. I think it's because he was being lazy, if I'm honest. But yeah, a bit of a mixture of all the stuff I just said, we realised that actually there's not enough being done to help our planet. So Birthtree was made. And Birthtree is an animation card and gifting platform, which anytime you make a purchase through Birthtree, we will plant a tree. And our mission is to plant 1 million trees by 2026. And yeah, we're really, really excited about it because the difference that it makes. So we have not even really been live for very long. We sort of did a bit of a soft launch at Valentine's Day. We've already planted over 100 trees. There's another 100 trees going to be planted by the end of this week. And we've actually already eliminated 2.2 tons of carbon offset, which is like that actually equivalent of 5,600 miles in a car.
That's amazing.
I know. And we haven't even officially launched yet. So yeah, we're really excited about it. And I think the difference that we know that it will make long term, because I think if anyone, like most people now are really aware of it, but I think lockdown made us more aware of it. The humans went inside, nature came back to life. But I think it was always there. We just didn't notice it because we weren't looking after it. And that was really, really sort of struck a chord with us and made us think that we need to do this because it will make a difference.
Because we need trees to live, don't we? Like, trees are essential for our ecosystem. They're essential for us to be alive.
Oh my God, I know. Do you know what it's like about a birthday card? Birthday cards are really lovely. Making people feel nice are really lovely. And it's not just birthday cards, any type of card, right? When someone, get well, congratulations, anniversary, Valentine's, anything. But the amount of wastage that goes with that, they just get thrown in the bin. Unless you're someone that hoards stuff and keeps things. But even then, they're not doing anything for you or the planet. And Doug always used to say, well, I'm saving the trees, I'm not sending you a card. And it was always an ongoing joke. But he was like, but seriously, he was like, what do you actually do with a card? He was like, we're always on social media, you're always on your phone, you're always on your email. That's the sort of way we should be celebrating with each other. Yes, definitely still gift, which I will talk about in a second. But the card thing is really, really important. And when we looked into it, like the average UK citizen, like just normal day-to-day life, someone that has a car, family, works, whatever. I know obviously lockdown will slightly have changed this. Emits between 10.7 tons and 12.9 tons of carbon, like CO2, into the atmosphere every year, right? And to offset that, you'd have to plant 500 trees personally, just to make yourself neutral against that.
That is mind-blowing, isn't it?
It's so mind-blowing. What's really exciting though is, yeah, that's 500 trees you'd have to plant to make yourself a carbon neutral person, and that's the average UK citizen.
That's bizarre. That's so, but that's not coming just from cars. That's like your.
No, sorry, that's every day. That's an everyday, that's like the way that we all live. So that's cars, work, everything we're doing on a day-to-day basis. But if you think about how many people you then know and how many cards you then send, the difference you could make just with that part alone is huge. Because I think we've got to be realistic as well. Is the way we live is the way we live, but we can change things to really then help offset the way that we live, and absolutely make even bigger changes to then try and reduce that number. But those tons, and when I'm speaking in tons, I'm still getting used to the language, because I'm like, God, that feels huge. And you have to check the numbers 2 or 3 times, but you're like, well, I'm probably an average person, out of lockdown, I go to work, I do whatever, and I'm like, actually, yeah, I am probably emitting about that. And it's quite scary when you think about the difference that if I hadn't done this, would I just have continued to be doing that to my planet? And how many of there is us that don't do anything? I know loads of people that don't get involved with stuff like this, but only because they just don't know. Because I'll be honest with you, I didn't know until I started doing the research. I've always been someone that's quite, I feel like I would look after, and I was really, passionate about that. But did I do anything to make a difference? I don't think I did. And when I saw that number, the average person needs to plant 500 trees, I'm thinking, well, actually, realistically, how are you going to do that? How could you do that realistically without, how could you fit in planting 500 trees? So we feel that actually Birthtree is, you're still able to celebrate, but you're making a change with every celebration that you do. We will plant a tree, we'll do it for you. You can still tell your loved ones that you love them, but do it in a really, really different way. We're going to be reducing waste and protecting the future, which is amazing.
Yeah, and I don't know if you've seen it, but there's a show on Netflix by David Attenborough, and it's actually his newest one, I think.
Yeah.
Called God, what is it?
Is it called Life Is We? I watched it last night, and are you gonna? Yeah, I've completely, it's come out of my mind. But the newest David Attenborough one, he talks about being 93 in it.
Yeah, so he's basically talking about his lifetime as a human on this planet and how things have changed. And I have to say, when I was watching it, through parts of it, it shows you current decline, and I can't even remember it now, but you see over the years where the numbers going down and down, down, and I'm like, oh my God, this is getting scary.
It is. What did they say? 2020, I think we had wilderness had reduced from when he talked about it in 1970 from like nearly 50 to 35. So 50% of the whole planet's wilderness had dropped by, and it was like, but then you see the population grow massively. And then there's a middle bit in it that talks about the tons, that I've been trying to say the tons part, which obviously is massive because he's talking about the whole world. But I was like, oh my God, it's so sad. And he actually said something in that, because I actually watched it last night, and I watched it last night because I just feel I like him. I think he's really sweet as well. But actually, no one coming on here, because I thought, well, it'll be really good for me to have actually watched it and chat that through with you as well. And he said something right at the start about Chernobyl, and talked about how, how Chernobyl, you can't live there, and it's all because of human error, and actually because humans didn't think. And he used that analogy, and then he said, that's what the planet's going to be like. And I was like, I felt really sad. And then he showed you the future of what will happen if we continue to be the way that we are. And I'm like, oh, that really, and then it made me go, actually, I'm really excited. And yeah, this is just one thing, but imagine if everyone started sending Birthtree cards. Like, if we all have lots of friends, we all just, or even if we all just sent one, and that's probably going to offset at least one average human in the year of the offset, the difference it makes to the planet. I just think it's crazy, but getting this message out there and telling people is the exciting. Well, I suppose that's the exciting part, because it's really different.
And what's your thoughts on, because a lot of people will say, I quite like to get a card, and I quite like opening a card. You know, I like having the cards on the mantelpiece. What would be your thoughts on that? Sorry, I'm asking the awkward question.
No, do you know what's a good question? Because I'll be honest with you, I actually said the same thing to Doug ages ago. Like, so when we first started talking about this, I was like, well, I think about my mum. And my mum loves a card. Like, every year she's like, get me a card. And I'm like, oh, God, you know what? Like, because I'm quite disorganized. It's not even because I don't like cards. I was just always disorganized. So for me, this is an easier way to do things because I'm like that. But I think that if someone said that to me, what we want to do is going forward is actually we want to start working with people that sell gifting. And we want to sell gifting, you know, and that's anyone. So anyone watching this that has a business, independent business, that has like something that you can buy as a gift. So that is any type of gifting. I know Stephen's coming on, and we've got this amazing artist called Sarah Stewart. She's going to be selling some of her pieces through us too, which is amazing. So I'm thinking like florists, bakers, chocolatiers, sweeties, alcohol, hampers, you know, what am I missing for gifting? But anything. So if you're watching this and own a business or have a friend that owns a business that you think they would want to sell through Birthtree, we will plant a tree for you joining us, and we will plant a tree for every purchase that is made of like, or purchase of your product. So I think the answer, going back to your question, I would say buy a gift instead. So have the animation card and then get your friend or something a gift so that they've got something physical to have if that's the thing that you know that means a lot to you, because you're then planting 2 trees, making a big difference, and actually, you know, you're still loving the person exactly the same as you did if you sent a card. And I don't know if that's a good answer or not a good answer, but I feel like now that I've looked so much into it, I just think don't send cards. But
I think the best answer, because when I've looked into it as well, the amount of people that actually prefer a gift to a card as well. I don't know if you know this.
no, tell me.
So I was looking, there was a survey done, and 80% of people who were given a card with a gift preferred the gift to the card.
Well, there you go.
They weren't interested in the card. They read the words of the card and you know, like, oh, that's really lovely, that's nice. But most people, when they open a card, they're looking for the cash, aren't they?
Well, you do that, you know, kids. It's like they do that, don't they? And they open it, and it's like open it, see that, make sure there's no money in it. Well, that's it. And I just think, and do you know, it's funny as well, because you know when you think about that, when you finish your birthday or whatever, and you take them off the mantelpiece or the windowsill, you literally do. And I mean, yeah, okay, we've got recycling wheelie bins and stuff now, but how many people are that? Like, I know loads of people that maybe don't do that completely correctly all of the time. So it's like, actually, what's happening with them? And yeah, and you're right. You can show, like, even sending someone a message. A lot of people just write on social media now, but if you could make a difference by sending them something additional away from social media or using that platform and giving them a gift to make them feel really special and knowing you've made a difference. Because when you purchase from us as well, you get a card, but you also get a certificate to say that there's been a tree planted, so you can share that with the person. So effectively, that's a gift as well as the card. But then additionally, if you start to work with, you know, businesses that work, so if someone buys from you, Stephen, they will buy from you, they'll get their gift, and they'll also get a certificate saying, well, there's been a tree planted. So effectively, that person might get a gift and 2 certificates to say 2 trees have been planted, which I think is really special. And, you know, I think for us as well, there'll be a big thing about people that maybe don't have that same opinion. It's about how do you start to shift that opinion by showing people the difference it's making just by changing one thing, i.e. the way you celebrate.
Yeah. I think the whole card industry as well is actually like crazy money that they're taking in, you know.
It's insane. 1.6 billion or something it is in the UK.
And see to have that, for them to have that card that's made, you've got everything that happens to make that card as well. So you've got the trees that need to be chopped down. You've got the people who need to then distribute and package and send the cards out. So you're making everything much more carbon neutral by doing it all on an e-card.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you say, there will still be a bit of carbon footprint made when you send that gift or delivery. But that is just like I said at the start. we have to still live. You know, we live and we've been brought up in this world that we live the way that we live. But if we can make changes that will support and actually, well, the longevity of the planet, that's really what's going to happen. It's about, you know, you can make big changes or you can make little changes, whatever then feels right for you. But if we all commit to making one change, and if it is, like you say, the way we celebrate, then actually you're still able to do everything you were doing previously, but it's just much cleaner and much more friendly towards the planet. Which,
Yeah. So many people you see posting on social media as well now. I don't know if you see it, but I see it all the time. People say, instead of wanting cards and gifts for my birthday this year, or I am not sending out Christmas cards this year. I'm just going to do it online, and then they'll send you a message with Merry Christmas and this nice wee gift. You know, so it's exactly the same thing, but I think what you're doing, it's more personal. Plus, there's a tree planting.
exactly. Yeah.
But you aren't getting with the other stuff.
And I think what we would like to do as well is, so when we look at our plan as a whole, and when you go on the website, you'll see there's a bit for charities. So what we do want to do, so the likes of Valentine's Day next year, I think, so if we can then, we will link with something, a charity at that point that will link in well with Valentine's Day. So not, again, you'll get a tree planted, there'll be a percentage given to a charity, because that's another thing we want to do is help people. We want to help people, we want to make a difference. And actually, if we can do that through Birthtree, that's absolutely what we'll do. So we actually we've got a card mocked up for next Christmas, and it's, you know, cash for kids. Don't know. So actually for us, that's a really big thing. You know, actually Christmas is about, you know, it's about children and getting lovely gifts, but you know how many kids wake up on Christmas Day with no gifts? Well, actually Cash for Kids is such a great charity. So for us, we're already like, well, that'll be the charity that we want to be part of next Christmas, because actually you'll buy a tree, you'll buy a card, we'll plant a tree, but we'll also donate, you know, money to that charity so that we know that children are waking up and really having a great Christmas. And along the way, that's what we want to do, is we want to then start to, because you just made a really good point, Stephen, is like people are already doing that. They're maybe donating to, you know, homeless charities for people then to get a Christmas dinner. That's something I see loads, you know, like that social bite. I love that. So it's about how can you then do a bit of everything? Can you still donate to that charity and make a difference to the planet and make someone feel really, really loved? Well, that's the road that we're going to be going down. So again, any charities out there that want to work with Birthtree, need some additional funding, need some help, please get in contact and we'll see if we can work together, because I'd love to do that too, because there's a bit on our page about that. There's also a bit about, we've got a gratitude section, and the gratitude section is just about if someone wants to donate. They don't actually want to do anything, but they actually want to make a difference and they want to feel great. They want to plant a tree or they want to donate to a charity, well, they can get in contact and we'll do that for them and plant a tree in the process.
I love that. That's really good, Jay.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask something there, and I've completely forgotten it. It's so bad. Don't you just hate that when something's...
Oh, don't.
Yeah, that was my other point. So when you're supporting Birthtree and Joel with her business, you're equally supporting lots of small businesses as well, because Joe is working with people who are local business owners, and that's, I think, what people don't necessarily see. They don't see all the hard work that's put in, all the collaboration behind the scenes.
Totally. I love that you said that, actually, Stephen, because me and Doug were talking about that, and he was away offshore and we were working. So Doug works away. So we've been doing a lot of stuff. Like I've been contacting people, he's been contacting people. And I said, I feel really strongly about that. I want to keep it really local. Obviously, if there is big businesses that want to get involved, great. But I want to have people that, because I feel it's people making a difference. It's not like, you know, there's lots of people now that are making a difference and you're seeing it, you know, your big businesses that are planting trees, and that's really, really great. But I want to help small businesses not only make a difference, but actually really succeed through all this as well, because like you say, the graft that goes into that, because it's, you know, in some cases it's a one-man band, but you're getting just as great product, if not better, than some of the products you get if you were to shop huge. So yeah, I love that. I really do. Because I mean, I have other small businesses that, you know, for me, I know the work that I've had to put in lockdown to even keep it going. So actually being able to talk about a small business and get them involved, yeah, love it. Really, really love that. Because
Yeah. So yeah, you are supporting local as well for anybody that's asking. There's lots of people asking questions as well, so I'm going to jump over to the questions.
okay.
And Silka is asking, that's an amazing thing to do. Where do you plant them?
So there's a mixture. We actually plant them with a company called Ecology, and they're a social enterprise. So if you go onto our website, which I'll like share, I'll get Stephen to share, we've got like a online forest that you can see. So the trees that we've planted currently are in Mozambique and Madagascar. And the reason they're planted there is because you can plant trees in the UK as well, but this is something I've learned since doing Birthtree, is the UK terrain. So like when you plant here, it takes much longer for a tree to birth effectively. So it'll take much longer for it to grow. So as much as it's nice to do to plant in the UK, and absolutely we need to have forests in the UK to help the overall global issue, actually planting in the likes of, warmer climates and continents are when they're going to make the biggest difference to the globe and the biggest difference to that CO2 number, which is what helps keep our whole planet. And that's even including the UK. So although the trees aren't here, it keeps the UK really, really safe and healthy as well.
So this is something that I really know very well, actually, because as you know, I've been training as a tea sommelier for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And trees always grow fast in hotter climates. So, for instance, tea plants, in the UK, we don't have many tea farms because our climate is cold and it's damp.
Mhm.
And what will happen is that the tea plants will grow very slowly.
Yeah.
And it's exactly the same for any other tree. So if it's in the hotter countries, the hotter climates, the tree, I think, can grow to the same size as a tree would take for 15 years to grow. Here, it can grow that size in 2 years in a hotter climate.
Yeah,
So,
it's unbelievable. Yeah, and actually, do you know when you said that? Because I was like, when I first started this, I was like, I'm really passionate about doing it in the UK. I want to make a difference in the UK, and that's what I didn't know. And then I was like, well, actually, it's a bit, and there is, because there's a big part at the moment. We actually have been speaking to like the Scottish Forestry Grant, because actually, we want to have more woodland. I think we've all experienced really, really great walks and being out with our families and just being out in nature, which has been lovely. So we want to keep that in the UK. But you're right, it's like actually to do that, it's a much harder bit of work and much harder bit of graft. And the difference, yes, it looks nice, but the difference it makes to that overall CO2 number isn't huge because of the climate that we live in. So yeah, so when you go on Birthtree, you can go on. We've got a little live forest, which Stephen kindly helped me get it up my website so you can see it. And you see the mission of wanting to plant 1 million trees. If you click on that, it takes you right through, and you can see actually we've got bundles of trees, and then we've got individual trees, so you can see exactly where they're planted. And when you click on it, it takes you to a map of exactly where it is. So it's really, really cool.
yeah. But it is very, very true that you're saying, to make a global impact, these trees need to be planted in the countries where there's a hotter climate. Just in case anybody's like, really, really want the trees to be done in the Pentlands or wherever, but
No, but Stephen, I was like that. I was like that person. I was like, because we'd actually contacted another charity at first before we because we contacted a few charities because it needed to be right, didn't it? When you work with someone, it needs to feel right, and it needs to be, well, I suppose your mission needs to be fulfilled when you work with that person. And I was all like, all forward. I was like, oh yeah, this company, UK, and they're a really great company, and their mission is amazing, by the way, really, really cool. But Duke was like, but Joe, like, what? He actually had to say to me, what are we getting from that? What's actually happening? Think about what we need to do. And I was like, you're right. He was like, you're right. There'll be beautiful nature walks, but is that going to make an everlasting change? It'll make a change, but it'll take much longer to make change. And I'm like, no, you're right. You're right. Okay. So ecology is that. Because when you go on as well, what we do is that CO2 number I keep talking about too, is we donate every month projects which reduce atmospheric CO2 levels. So when you go on, you can see what projects that we've, if it's about water, if it's about forestry, actually anything, you can see that, which is really, really lovely too. So not only are we planting trees, which makes a difference to that number, we're helping towards projects as well, which again, if that's something that, we talk about that gratitude and charity bit, if that's something you want to be part of, we can absolutely get in, we can chat to you and tell you more about that too.
Mm-hmm. It's like the rainforest in the world as well. I think if you're watching that David Attenborough program, the rainforest went from being like vast, amazing places to now being very, very limited. So it's those parts of the world that we need to get back up there, because the rainforest is responsible for, I think, what is it, like 90% of the CO2 on Earth?
Yes, which is like unbelievable. And you see the difference. There's a bit in that David Attenborough, and there's like an orangutan, right? And it's like on this little lone tree. And I'm like, actually, even speaking about it makes me really sad, because I'm like, these poor animals need this, but they need this, but we need them. Like, we need that. So it's like, and then there was a bit in it as well, which is actually talking about that whole trees and where you plant trees to make a difference. Dave, and forgive me because I don't actually know what tree, the type of tree it is, but you see a picture of rainforest, and then the trees drop, and there's this huge, big terrain of trees, which actually for you and I and people that maybe don't have loads, well, we know more probably about trees, but someone that didn't know about that situation, you'd look and go, well, there's loads of trees, it's fine. But what they've done is they've knocked down rainforests and then planted trees that actually only grow to a certain level and don't actually house animals. So what they're basically just being built as tree farms, so they can use the wood, or use the tree for actually for us. That's basically it. And I was like, oh my goodness, that's really interesting. That's a wee bit like that UK question. It's like, we can do it as a nice to do, but to make that real difference, you need to be planting the right trees, planting them in the right places. So not only do we get trees, but we really, really help wildlife as well.
I love that. I'm sure everybody watching as well will absolutely love the fact that you've done your research, you've done lots and lots and lots of homework on this subject. Because you need to be planting the right trees to make a difference, don't you? So,
totally. And that's the thing that, as part of this too, if there's I want to continue to do that, because I feel like I've only just scraped the surface as well. I've done lots of research and I'm really passionate about it. You know me, Stephen. I get excited about anything. Like, once I get my teeth into something, I'm really excited for this. But something that I'm like, the more and more I read about it, I'm like, my heart just feels like it's in my throat sometimes. Watching stuff, I'm like, I really, really want to make change here. Like, I really want to make change, and I want to help people understand what that means. And I mean, I've worked in fashion for years, and when I think about clothes, and there's so much work you can do about sustainability, that all of us can make a difference in so many areas of our life. It's unreal. So yeah, I feel like I'm really excited about what this has become now, but I'm also really excited about how this will grow, because I believe that we'll be able to bring lots of other things in to help people in lots of different ways.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Teresa's asking there as well, will you plant broadleaf trees?
Oh, that's a really good question, Teresa. So actually, it's a real mixture. I actually feel that we've not planted any broadleaf trees yet. So we actually haven't planted them. But you can see all the different types of trees that we planted, again, like ecology. I don't actually get to pick the trees that we plant. And the reason is because the people that the people we're paying to plant the trees for us are doing it. They're picking the right climate, and they're picking the type of tree that needs to be planted there to make the biggest difference. But let me find out about that, and I'll tell you where there is broadleaf trees planted. And if we're going to, I'll get your name. I'm going to write your name, Teresa, and I'll get in contact with you. Because if we're planting them, I want to let you know.
There you go. That's amazing.
There you go. You'll get a random friend request from me, Teresa.
I don't know what is a broadleaf tree? Do you know?
I don't know. Does Teresa know? I feel like I don't know enough about tree types. I feel like actually when I spoke to the guy in ecology and we were chatting about it, he was like, and this tree and that tree. And I just said, well, that's amazing. And he said, but every tree we pick for the climate that is in, the area that goes into it, and the difference it makes. I've got a friend, and her husband plants trees in Uganda. And he does a lot of she sent me a forest that he planted of eucalyptus trees, and it was unbelievable. She was like, look at the difference. And she sent me a picture of when they first planted them. And then I think it was actually only not even I think it possibly was 4 years later, and it's a fully fledged forest. It's unreal. But actually, again, if they picked another type of tree, I don't actually know if they would have got that same result. So for me, because I don't do the actual planting, but again, that's something that I need to, as I grow on this, is understand why they're planting them there and the difference that's going to make. So yeah, good question. I love it, Teresa. Thank you.
If I go back to when I was little, obviously I'm from Edinburgh, and I remember very clearly there was this. Do you know? Well, I know you'll know. Sighthill Park, just right
Yeah.
at the very bottom. So I remember going and planting trees with the school. I went to Firhill High School, And I remember we went down to Sighthill to plant these trees. And I remember, honestly, thinking these trees are going to be like these big 20-foot trees in the next 10 years, right? And it wasn't until, I think, maybe 5 years ago, I was driving through Sighthill and I was like, that's the trees we planted. And like 30 years later, they're big trees. But
30 years. It's insane.
But I really honestly remember that these trees, right through my childhood, I always thought they're not even that big. And they had these, you know, the green things stuck around them that keep them straight and stop them from falling over. I'm thinking, these trees, they're not growing very well. And I suppose it just goes back to what we're saying, you know, our climate is not great for growing trees. Is it?
Well, that's totally and you know, it's when you start to understand that. For me, actually, if I know that, like, 'cause I think I'm the same. Like, we have actually done, and you'll see we've got videos, and Doug bought trees. Like, Doug got really mad, and he bought trees. We've actually got trees in the garden that still need planted, and Doug's like, we're going to go and plant them, and I'm like, great. But as we've done our research, and it's like, that's nice. Do you know the thing for me is the thing that's really, really, when we do that about two sons. Talk about it. Cole, he's older, he's 15, but James is a lot younger. I feel like we can actually really, really start to speak to him from as far as he remembers him to understand that. So we do a bit of tree planting, but that is a bit more of a nice to do now. That's what I'm now starting to understand. It's a nice to do, it's lovely, but actually for us to make that big long last change is to do the way that we're doing it.
Teresa's saying there, she's referring to UK, too many conifers, not native. Thanks, Joe.
Oh, good. Okay, thank you. But I will still add you, Teresa, and I'm going to find out more, and I'm going to keep in touch with you about that, because there is something about the UK tree part in ecology, and we can go, we can actually. So is it that I could request that and find out more? Let's see. I've just seen that you put that up on the screen. I was just reading it. Amazing. Yeah, can absolutely find it out.
So yeah, broadleaf, oak, chestnut, birch, ash tree, etc. So yeah.
Yeah.
I think.
Thanks, Teresa.
I think as well there is lots and lots of charities in the UK that are actually trying to plant more of these trees. I'm pretty sure of it. So there's huge big things going into that.
Yeah, well that
You there? You've paused. She's like we'll just wait for Joe's connection to come back on, guys. But she's doing her Austin Powers look.
I'm back.
You're back. You were frozen.
That's always really awkward when you're on these calls, when you're like pulling some funny, crazy face, and you're like, I need to take a picture and show what she looks like. But yeah,
what we're trying to say is that, you know, what you're doing, it's more about like trying to like really build up the ecosystem again, isn't it?
Basically, yeah.
Make the biggest difference quickly.
And when I think about a froze there, I was saying about that forestry grant that we've been looking into, is actually that'll be about how we can make more areas of nature in the UK. And we, like, so Doug and I said, like, you know, even Doug was like, is it that you buy a bit of land and just commit to planting trees on that land? And actually it'll look really nice, and it might be somewhere in the future, like you say, that you can then take your children, go for walks, but actually the longevity and what that it'll help the planet. Of course it'll help the planet, but actually what that'll do for the planet will be quite a small percentage of that help that we need to in the bigger scale. But actually that's something we do. I know we've talked about, because I was really passionate about the UK planting, so it was like, well, that's what we go down. We look at that route, but we do it differently, so that we're still, I suppose, sticking with our vision. But the difference is like, well, already I'm saying that, like I said that to Duke, when you look at the numbers that we've made, and I'm like, you know, we're hopefully we're nearly at 100 trees, another additional 100 trees by the end of this week, which will be amazing, right? So that'll be sweet. I'm so excited. But actually already that's like we're going to double. So we've emitted 2.2 tons of carbon offset already, and we haven't really fully went live. And I'm thinking, well, another 100 trees, that's going to be 4. Remember I said the average person can emit between 10 and 12 tons of CO2 a year. Well, we're nearly on our way of emitting 1 full person, which feels really exciting. So that feels really, that's cool. Like, and I'm just like, that's amazing, just the difference. And that's just a few people sending cards. That's not a huge number because we haven't fully launched. We've done a soft launch with people that know us on social media and shared it with friends and family, and a few cards, which was great. But already look at the difference. I'm like, well, you can see I'm getting excited again. I'm doing a Joe. The difference. Imagine what it'll be like when we go live and then we get all these amazing businesses on our site as well. So we're selling cards, selling gifts, and planting more trees. I just and this is my competitive spirit coming out. I'm like, I need to get to 1 million. And Duke's like, we have said till 2026. And I'm like, what number are we on now? But it's so amazing the difference that it makes. So what's that? I mean, if we plant another 100 trees by the end of the week, we'll offset 4.5 tons of CO2, which will be over nearly 11,000 miles in a car. That's the same difference as traveling 11,000 miles in a car. And we haven't even fully went live yet. How cool is that? I love that.
It really is amazing, though, isn't it?
Thank you to everyone that's got involved so far, because that's the difference that we've made together. It's like, wow.
Yeah. And I think I'm really, what I'm trying to really get across to our viewers today is that whole point of like what really needs to be done. So we've got conservation stuff that's going on in the UK, which is amazing. There's lots and lots of work that's going on to try and get us more green land in the UK. But for you, what you're doing, Joe, it's really to really push the ecosystem of the planet.
Exactly.
There's many other people like you as well that are doing lots of stuff in their businesses where they're planting trees and, everybody getting involved. Can you imagine what a difference it's going to make to the world long term? Really.
Totally.
I feel like we're like eco warriors today, actually.
I love it.
We're here to speak about your business, but I'm also, it's like a very,
I love it though. I actually love it. And when you follow people, I feel like, again, because I've started following and really follow, like when you start to follow stuff and read articles, and it is amazing the difference that people are trying to make, but also it makes you go, that's a percentage. Imagine if just another 5% of people did that. Like you say, another, and then I start like when I look at the numbers just for gift cards, right? So gift cards and gifting, right? There's we actually have on our website that 900 million cards are sent across the UK. We have since realised it's 900 million Christmas cards. So there's even more cards that are, I know, which is insane, right? And I think that was in 2019, that number was thingy, but I was thinking, imagine everyone that bought a card, just one of those people, we would have totally smashed our number, and we would then be able to stretch that 1 million tree. And I'm like, but the difference that'll make to the planet is just unreal. So when you look at the numbers and then we're not saying that everyone needs to do it all of the time, but imagine if you just said, oh, I'm going to commit to doing that once. The difference that you'll make, oh, I'm going to commit to doing it twice. Like you say, it's that, because I'm like the same, I feel like I've become a real eco warrior. I love it. Because the difference will be amazing. And just for our kids, I just think, when I look at, when you look at that David Attenborough and he starts talking about the in years to come, I'm like, well, James will be my age then.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that makes me really sad. Like, that's the place that he would potentially be in, or, him and his children. And I'm like, and then it makes me even more passionate.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just think, oh my God, and not because I don't want to look after us now, of course I do, but it will make a difference now to weather, everything we're going through. But the future, I'm like, we need to keep this going, our planet alive for as long as we can.
Look, already because we're not putting so much CO2 out there because we're all at home, the planet's actually doing amazing things to heal itself. Like we've actually had a proper season through winter as well. We've had snow for the last 8 weeks. So
I know. And how amazing is that?
Yeah.
And obviously when things reopen, which we're all hoping happens soon, it's like not to forget that. It's not to forget that just by changing, and let's be honest, with the change that we've all made has been pretty extreme. We've all been in our houses, but it's like actually by being in our houses, you start to realise, what do you actually need? What do you need? You need a card. You don't need a card, but you do need to feel loved. You do need to feel loved, and you need to show kindness. And you need to, that's the thing that we all want. We love that. You like that human interaction, if it's on Zoom or, but you like to know that someone's thinking of you. But actually, you don't need to leave your house to do that. You don't need to, so look at what you can do by Yeah, I'm the same as you, Stephen. I love it. I was like, the amount of when you went out on walks and saw nature and like things like where we live, you wouldn't see deers or anything. You would see deers maybe, but like you saw lots of that, and it was they were coming right out, and it was amazing. And that's just because the planet was cleaner, just for that like small space of time. Now I'm going down what, as you say, a leafy lane now, but I'm just excited.
Not at all. I actually stopped buying cards 6 years ago, and the only time I ever buy a card is for Nikki's or for our wedding anniversary, which is tomorrow, by the way. So I bought a physical card for that, and I always buy a physical card for that. But anything else, I don't buy cards. And interestingly, 6 years ago, I was speaking to a lovely, lovely lady that I know. Her name is Marina Shavinsky. So you might have heard of her, but she's from Poland, and she is like one of these eco warriors. But I had shown or put up on my social media a picture of all the old birthday cards and Christmas cards that we'd kept in a box. And so she, like, to be fair, she jumped on me for it. She was like, "What the hell are you doing?" She was basically, she's one of these lovely people when she's like, you need to stop eating meat and you need to start eating vegetarian. She's quite extreme in her view. However, see, when she actually educated me on what I'm doing to the planet by buying so many cards and keeping those cards as well, she was like, do you realise what you're doing? So she was showing me the statistics and the facts and the figures, and she was like, just to produce that one card, this is how many trees need to fall.
Wow.
And I'm like, it's crazy.
I know, that's it though. And you wouldn't, but the thing is, you wouldn't know, would you? You wouldn't know unless you're really into it. Because like I've got friends that I've told them about this, and they were a bit like, oh, it's quite nice, but you can tell they're a bit like, and it's maybe because, but I've got other friends that I'm really, really are forward thinking and in a place that they really get about sustainability and the difference it makes. And you tell them this, like when I told you, Stephen, about this, you were like, oh God, I love it. It's amazing. And it's like about that, it's that education piece. If you don't know what you don't know effectively, do you? And it's like, actually, if you don't see the difference that you're making or if it doesn't connect with you, but actually, that's the thing I'm like now. I'm like, I love it. And I said that I just want to talk about become a bit of an eco warrior. I want to talk about it. I want to, yes, grow my new business, and I'm really excited about that part of it. But the real thing is about the difference it will make. Like, if you think 900 million cards, if just a small percentage of those people decided to buy a Birthtree card and a Birthtree gift, it's unreal the difference that we could make. And I feel really excited about that.
Yeah. I'm just going to go over to Lisa. So Lisa's comment, and she's saying there, yeah, but you have them. Yeah, but then you have them taking our green land away, our trees to build houses. So that's totally right, Lisa.
Yeah.
But what I'll say with that is, again, I was privy to a conversation between two people at Parliament actually last year, and they were saying, stop having children then, and we won't need more houses. That was my point. I was saying, you guys, you take away green land, you do all of this stuff, and this was one of the guys that worked for one of these companies that build houses, and he said there is a need for social housing. There is so many homeless people, and he says basically the reason for it is people are spitting out kids left, right, and centre. So stop having kids, and we'll no need to buy houses. We'll no need to build houses.
But actually, though, that's a good point. And it is funny because I'm the same as you, Lisa. You find that you go, like, even I live in a new development. So again, I'm someone and I live around a forest, there's big trees where we live. And some of the trees absolutely are so big, and they're actually in a place now that they're starting to cause issues in the development. They're so big, which actually then you would say, well, it's a bit unfair because why are you doing that to a tree? And you're saying that. But like you say, it's because of the way that we are in the UK and the size of area the UK is. But there is big bits of work being done by the UK government and the Scottish government to really focus on, yes, continuing to build houses because, like I was going to call you Susan then. I don't know why that came out. Stephen said, yeah, hello. As Stephen said, it's like, actually, we need the houses, but we also need the green land, and it's the Greenland one, so that the UK has got enough green on it, so it looks nice and it's a nice place to live, but also so it's great for the environment. But the difference that it makes is like the percentage of difference it makes. It takes much longer for that green land to make a difference. If that makes sense what I just say. But I know it's kind of going over ground what we talked about. But I do agree with you, Lisa, because I was exactly the same. Another new house in development. Oh my God, that's so annoying. Says the girl that lives in a new house. But you know what I mean? It's like, actually,
I think for every new housing development that's built as well now, they need to have a green belt attached to that. So
yeah.
there needs to be a reservoir, and there needs to be I'm absolutely sure it's a reservoir. I'm sure that's what that guy was saying that when I was there. A reservoir and so much green land attached to that as well, which is really fascinating.
It's a percentage, and I can't even remember what the percentage is. But again, we've got this. So where we live, we've got a beautiful big walk behind it, and it's got a reservoir, and it's got a lovely forestry walk, and it's lined with forest, like I say forestry. It's not a forest because it's obviously more trees now. But actually, yeah, it needs to have that. But you're right. In the UK, we do need to have more green land, and we need to have as much green land as possible to keep the planet going and keep our wildlife going as well. That's the truth. We've got UK-based wildlife too. So totally agree with you, Lisa, and I'm all for that too. But for us, the reason we're doing the UK is not the UK is and using where we're planting is because what we talked about is to make that bigger global difference.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that we haven't been a leafy lane with that as well, haven't we?
I know. I love it. Like how we're using the word leafy as well.
I know. Yeah. And it's so true though, like to make a big impact, you need to plant in the hotter climates so that the trees make that bigger difference to the ecosystem, because the trees grow fast, really fast over there.
Totally. But you can plant in the UK with us, so we can do that. So and this is something we actually wrote, Doug and I. Doug came home last night and we got to it. Obviously, when I say we got to writing our plan for Birthtree, nothing more sexy than that. But we literally talked about UK-based planting, because what you said there, Lisa, there'll be so many people in the UK being like, that's great, but actually I do want to see a bit of a difference in the UK. So what does that mean? So that's not something we have not thought about, and it's something we will continue to think about. And I'm sure I'll be back on with Stephen and I'll share when we get new things and open new avenues. But UK-based planting with Ecology, the company we use, we can do. But we can plant like a tree at a time, effectively. So you could plant a tree for someone and get that tree named, so you would know where the tree was planted, etc. But actually, bigger scale Greenland, how can we do something at Birthtree to help that and be part of that in the UK as well? So I will absolutely keep you all updated on how we progress with that too.
Brilliant. And how much does it cost for a Birthtree card?
So for a Birthtree card, it's $4.99. And for an anniversary card, which we've got one at the moment and we've got another one being made at the moment, they're $5.99. And the reason they're at $5.99 is because we're going to plant 2 trees because it's for 2 people.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What's that?
So we've got that. So Valentine's, we started that with Valentine's Day. So the Valentine's Day card for $5.99. We're also doing something really exciting. So for anyone that's my friend on Facebook, you will have noticed that Doug and I were totally soppy and we shared our Valentine's Birthtree card, and Doug's actually in the process now of getting some of them to be customized. So you'll be able to add photos in. So a bit like, so it's not just a beautiful card. So if you look on my Facebook, you'll see the one that Doug sent me and I sent him back. There's pictures of Doug and I in the Birthtree card with music, so that it's really just for us, which is really lovely. So we've not got a price for them yet because we're just finalising how we'll be able to do that through this site. But again, I think if it's customised, we'll probably look at planting additional trees as well, because there'll be a wee bit of extra cost involved. But it'll obviously make a bigger difference as well, which will be cool. So watch this space. This will be here in the next couple of weeks too.
That's amazing. I didn't know your anniversary one was live.
I know, sorry, do you know what? We speak all the time and I send you loads of messages I should have said. But it's a Valentine. What I did is a Valentine card and an anniversary card.
Because
but don't worry, you inspired me to do it. So
yeah, I said to Joe a couple of weeks ago, I was like, it all looks really good. It's amazing, but there's no anniversary cards, and I want an anniversary card. And now it's live, and I didn't even know.
Don't even worry. Next year, you've got one for next year,
Yeah.
or an additional add-on to your anniversary present.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I might just do that. You might get a wee order coming through in the next 10 minutes.
Love it, love it, love it. You'll love it. The message is really nice, but we've got another one being made as well, and then we've also got a congratulations card being made too. So we've got we're just adding and exploring. But the thing for us as well, like really, if you're sitting here watching this, I would say please get in contact. If you like Stephen, we're absolutely going to get Stephen live on the site, so you'll be able to buy from Stephen. We've got Sarah Stewart going live on the site, who's a beautiful artist, and she's got like tote bags and journals, that she's going to be selling through us, which is really lovely. So if you're sitting here thinking, I have got a friend, or I personally run a business and I want to come onto Birthtree's platform, please get in contact. Stephen can share my details. You can add me on Facebook or find Birthtree on Facebook and just contact us and we will get you live. It doesn't cost anything to join us. We'll take a small commission for selling for you, but only just because of the work behind the scenes that we need to do it. But actually, we will plant a tree for joining us just for nothing, just for you being part of it. We will plant a tree for every single purchase that is made.
That's amazing. So it's really massively helping to support small businesses. You know, I'm thinking of like, you know, there's like lots of local chocolatiers that I've been seeing posting up these Valentine boxes on Facebook. So they're the kind of people that would work really well with your business.
Absolutely.
Florists. I've got a few friends as well doing these, you know, these resin things. You know,
Yeah.
they make these resin keepsakes. You know, so.
But that's the sort of stuff that you want, don't you? Like when you get a gift, you really want, like it's so lovely. And if you get something and you go, oh my God, that's really, really kind. And that was made just along the road. Oh, yeah. That makes it more special, doesn't it? So honestly, if there is anyone sitting here, and even if you're sitting here going, well, I sell that, I wonder if that could be classed. Well, yeah, get in contact. Let's see if it's going to work. Because I think the amount of things, there's so many different things you buy as a gift. We've all got lots of like Doug and I were chatting about that. He was like, oh, I don't know if I would get that as a gift. And I'm like, yeah, but I would love that as a gift. And he was like, yeah, you're right. We're all sitting here. We all get different gifts. So yes, Stephen, there is so many people. And now that we've spoken today, hopefully the people that have watched this or watched this back or, you know, us sharing it on social media, people will be like, I really want to get in contact. I want to be part of that. So please do. We want to, because we're now after today, this is us now starting to launch and go live and get businesses to work with us so that we can get the platform going. So you know what, you can get all your gifting needs from us. That's kind of what we're looking to do. That's what we want to do for all of you guys.
Amazing. And do you have a jingle?
What, like a song? Oh my God, I don't. And I feel disappointed. I feel like right, I'm going to make a jingle and I'll send it to you and you can play it on your I'm quite good at making jingles as well.
You know, because I'm thinking, when I think of cards and buying cards online, I think moonpig.com. No.
Oh God, we need to get rid of that moonpig. I need to think of something else. I can't just do that. I can't just do birthtree.co.uk. It doesn't have the same ring. Right, I'm going to think of a jingle. Maybe I could do a competition.
I think that would be absolutely brilliant. I think you should do that, yeah.
I'm doing a competition. Oh, see, do you know what? I feel like being on this today. You should see my notepad. It's got loads of stuff. I've been writing everything down. From Teresa to Lisa to your percentages. Now that's what I'm going to do, a competition, a jingle. Yes.
You could get someone to do your jingle for you, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, although I think I'm a really great singer, again, for anyone that's my friend on Facebook, I feel the only time I ever sing is when I've had a few wines, and I think I'm as good as Celine Dion. I don't know if that's going to sell animation cards though, so yeah.
I seen the memory that you shared from 4 years ago.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah. I know, and then Doug put something on Facebook that day, and they're like, because James loves singing. I don't know where he gets it from, but he was singing, you know, Toy Story. He loves Toy Story. You've Got a Friend in Me. And then Doug shared, don't know, he doesn't get his singing from his mum. And that night, that memory came up, and I thought I need to share it because Doug's just written that about him not getting his singing from me. But yeah, again, going down a leafy lane, that's a really good idea. So if anyone wants to make a jingle for us, get in contact. But I will do a wee competition, I think. That's a great idea.
Yeah, that's brilliant. So yeah, Anybody got any questions for Joe before we finish? Because would you believe when at past, I say this every single day, I'm going to stop, but it is a really quick hour.
It is. I love it about you, Stephen. Thank you so much for bringing me on today, and thank you for everything you do. I'm sure everyone knows that Stephen is such a huge support, a great friend, and such a good support. So thank you. You push me out my comfort zone all the time, and I love it. So thank you very much.
Oh, thanks. I'm just really, really glad to have you here and for you to be sharing what you do. And do you know the thing that I love about it as well, Joe, is you've not came on today being a salesperson. You've came on and the passion that's oozed from you is about supporting the climate and supporting climate change and supporting how we can all live on a better planet, I suppose.
Yeah.
And how your business is doing that.
Love it.
Lisa's asking me, can we pay to get a tree planted in someone's name?
You absolutely can, Lisa. So again, if you wanted, so I think Lisa is that Lisa asked the question earlier about the UK Greenland? Yeah. So you absolutely can, and you can get like an individual tree planted, and you can have the name, have the person's name. So when you go and visit the forest, you can see that person's name. And then you could have a UK based. It's more expensive to plant in the UK. Like I think it's about £4 or £5 per tree, if I remember rightly. But yes, you could have like Lisa's planted a tree, and for that person, and have like where that's planted and the person's name, so that tree is specifically for them. So again, get in contact and we can do that. We haven't set it up with cards yet, but contact us through the site and we could do that for you. Absolutely.
Fantastic. I love that you can do that, actually. That's really, really good, because I suppose that would be good for people who have maybe lost someone, because a tree, that's like an eternal thing, isn't it?
Absolutely.
A question as well, actually, and it's just really pulled my mind in there. Could you buy the tree from you guys and plant the tree where you like?
And do you know what? Another great question. I love that you asked this. This is on my list. So before when Birthtree was first, our idea was, do we sell the tree? Do we sell the tree? Do we deliver the tree? And there was loads of ideas. So we actually bought loads of trees. So we've actually got a box of about 200 trees. That's what I'm saying. We don't do anything lightly, Duke and I. So yes, part of what we're going to do is we're currently looking at being able to sell the tree. So you can buy a tree, absolutely, Stephen, get it sent. So you would buy a card. So just say you bought a card. We would then plant a tree for you. But then you could buy a wee Birthtree bag with maybe a few of, the tree, I want to say seedlings, but they're not seedlings. I feel like I've lost my train of thought of what they're called. And you'll be able to then plant the tree whenever you want. So we are looking to do that. So that'll be something that if it's not live in the next couple of weeks, it'll be alive by the end of the month. So you could absolutely, that'll be like a gift. You'll deliver that as a gift. It's just how we're going to sell that gift. We need to make a decision on how that looks.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Get rid of those 200 trees. So that you got another 200. So again, there'll need to be something about that as like you've planted a tree and you've bought an additional 4 trees.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but that's a really good question. And it's something we both thought. We were like, we've got these trees sitting here. What are we going to do with them?
Yeah.
Ourselves.
Well, because for me, when someone passes, it's nice to plant a tree in the garden or somewhere where you can go and remember that person. It needs to be done responsibly, of course. So if you were going and planting a tree in the middle of your public park, the council are probably going to go and dig that tree up, and so.
Yeah.
I suppose it needs to be done responsibly as well. There's that part of it as well, isn't there?
Yeah. Yeah. And like you say though, if you go on a really nice walk or you go somewhere that's really, so one of the things we've done is we've actually planted a tree, and you'll see again, if you go on the website, there's a picture of James and Duke and they're planting this tree, right? And it's really, really lovely. But actually that, like you say, it's not going to get dug up, that tree, because it's in the middle of lots of other trees and it's not going to make a difference. And actually it's funny, we did a walk the other day and you can see it's not grown huge. It's not even really grown. It looks kind of the same size, but it's still there. But it's still there because of where we planted it. But if you're going to plant a tree, you want to plant somewhere, 1, that you're allowed, and 2, that it'll stay, so that it's got that meaning for you. But yes, we can plant trees in the UK for you and get a name next to that tree, but we're also going to be selling trees that you can do as an additional to plant yourself too. Excuse me.
That's wonderful. Yeah, that's amazing. So,
yeah.
We've covered loads and loads and loads there.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you everyone for listening. Honestly, really love it and appreciate it so much. Thank you.
And if you do want to go on and have a wee look, Joe's website is running down the bottom of the screen there, www.birthtree.co.uk. That is the right website, Joe.
That is absolutely the right website. We're on Facebook and we're on Instagram as well. So come and check us out.
So Birthtree on Facebook and Birthtree on Instagram.
Yep.
Fantastic. Well, Joe, thank you so much for today. It's always a pleasure to chat to you.
Thank you.
And yeah, go and plant a tree every time you buy a celebration card, guys. And that celebration card goes straight to the person's inbox, is it, Joe?
Or you can have it to your inbox and you can share it through WhatsApp, social media, anything. So you can make a decision about where you want it to go. But yeah.
And it can be fully personalised, did you say?
Yeah, we're going to be having that. So that's not something you can do. Well, you'll be able to do it in the next few days. If you don't see that right now, that's only because it's quite new. But currently you can send straight away. So you go and send a card, birthday card to family, friends, anniversary card, anything you want to do. And like you say, either direct to their inbox or direct to yours so you can share it from now.
Wonderful.
Please let us know and let us know how you get on as well. And you'll get that certificate as well. It says thank you. So you can share and tell the person, not only am I giving you this card, but I'm planting a tree for you too.
Amazing. Well, Joe, thank you so much. Give everybody a bye.
Bye.
Be strong.
Hello.
Oh, you've got your glasses on now.
Say that again.
I said you had your glasses on. I don't think I've ever seen you with glasses on. I don't know.
Oh, really? I was taking notes and I'm. Have you
You
not
like it?
No.
No, they're cool. I like them.
Really?
Yeah, my eyesight has got, I have to say, do you know, since going back to work, whenever that was last year, obviously I do loads of work, I work from home, so I do everything on the laptop. My eyesight has got horrendous. Like, so bad. Like, that I need to wear glasses. Like, I can't, like, if you walk past me in the street, I wouldn't even see it. Like, it's so bad. But I want to get those blue, you know, those blue reflective ones, so that when you're sitting on stuff, like, they don't, like, right now I've just put them on and obviously all I can see is the screen. So I really don't get them because I feel like then, like today I sat on that and didn't have my glasses on and I probably should have had them on because it's not good for my eyes. By the way, Stephen, thank you so much for that.
No, thank you. That was really good. And I'm sorry it went down a few leaky lanes, but I think that the really clear message that came across there was how well you done and how you were very, what do you call it?
I know what you mean.
You know, one thing I love about you, Joe, is that you're not, you're not like, I'm all money focused. You're very focused on what you're doing and what impact you're having on the environment.
Yeah, and you know what's funny, because you know me, I am quite like any business person, I am quite driven by the money. I think what I've realised, again, even since working with you and doing like a lot of like, you know, we talk about like our goals and stuff. What I've realised, and this sounds really stupid, right? You know, spider diagrams. You obviously make us do them for everything: meditation, motivation, teacher training, like coaching training. Like, I don't think I ever really understood how to do a spider diagram, if I'm honest. Before, never really did it properly. It was always a bit like randomly writing. I feel like I'm actually starting to get really, really clear on